Hi again, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Right, so we're almost ready to go live on Facebook. So I've set up the live stream. I've just opened up the Zoom opening for this so people can start logging in and getting ready. So hi everyone, if you're just joining us, we're going to get going in a few minutes. So welcome, and I hope you're looking forward to this webinar.
It's exciting. I'm excited to talk.
That would be really interesting. I think as well, it's great to do like a live kind of demo and troubleshooting with these kind of things as well. It's always really useful, I think.
I think there's a massive big, lots of topics that you can talk with eyelash extensions. So, and I think it's like, definitely there's a lot to learn and there's a lot of stuff that people don't know. So I think it's really nice to cover, definitely to cover lash extensions. I think it's a great subject.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, lots to learn, I'm sure.
Wait, I'm excited.
So hi everyone, if you've just joined us, we're going to be going live in about 2 minutes or so, so do bear with us, and we'll be getting started very shortly.
I'm just having a look at the Facebook stream. So apart from the invites, can anybody watch on Facebook?
Yes, anyone can watch on Facebook, so we're live streaming there as well. So we'll have people attending here on Zoom, and then also people watching on Facebook as well, which is great. So yeah, if you want to watch back later as well, you can do, and we'll also be uploading them to YouTube as well. So if you want to re-watch them afterwards, it's really helpful.
Yeah, you can go back and learn tips and stuff like that. It'd be great if people had a paper and pen as well, because there's some interesting things that people can write down.
Definitely, yeah, grab a pen and paper.
Yeah, I've got mine.
Fab. So we've got about a minute to go, so I'm just going to get the Facebook stream ready, so when we hit 3 o'clock we can go live.
Yeah, fab. I hope everybody's got a lot. I hope everybody wants to learn a lot about lashes.
I'm sure they will. I think it's just such a broad topic as well, isn't there? There's so much you can learn.
That's why I've only picked 3 subjects really, because there's lots of other subjects that you can definitely, there's loads and loads to learn, and it's great to know how other people like to do things and use things, isn't it? So
absolutely.
I love learning. I don't think you can ever stop learning either.
Absolutely. Fab. So we're now ready to go live. So in 3, 2, 1. Okay, I think we're now live on Facebook. Hi everyone, it's Eleanor here from Professional Beauty. Today we are joined by lash artist Rebecca Hood, who is the owner of Lash Academy based in Drayton. And we're going to be talking through some of the common troubleshooting issues and how to overcome them. So thank you so much, Rebecca, for joining us today. It's great to have you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
It's absolutely brilliant to have you. So for everyone watching, we'll have a Q&A after Rebecca's demo today. So if you have any questions, please do send them through either on Zoom if you're watching here, or if you're over on Facebook, you can also drop us a comment there and we'll put them forward to Rebecca afterwards. But without any further ado, I'm going to turn off my camera now and hand over to Rebecca. Thanks, Rebecca.
I'll see you soon.
Soon.
Thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca. I don't know if you know anything about me, but I own a Lash Academy in East Drayton, which is kind of near Retford. I've been lashing for 5 years and I've been training for about 4 years. So I'm basically going to talk to you today. We're going to do some troubleshooting and we're going to look at adhesives, because I think it's a really good subject, how to store your adhesive, different things that you can do with it, humidity and temperature for those of you who don't know, things like that. We're going to go through that. And also I thought it'd be good to talk about lash cleansing, the importance of lash hygiene. And one of my other favourite subjects is definitely under eye treatment pads versus tape. So I thought we'd do that as well. But most importantly for me, adhesive is a massive subject. So I thought I'd talk to you about that first, basically, because I think it can be quite a long-winded subject as well. And we need to be really making sure that we're using the right adhesive for what we're doing. So we're working with chemicals on people's eyes, and we need to be doing that safely and the best way that we possibly can. Also, adhesives, commonly, they don't work for people, but there's reasons why they're probably not working for people as well. So we can talk through that. So if we get cracking on with adhesive, we'll start with that first. So my personal adhesive just comes in a little pot like this. Usually once it's opened, it's got a 3 to 6 month shelf life. So you can, if you wanted to, once you've opened it, if you stick a little bit of tape on the side and just put the date that you've opened it, you'll know roughly when it's about to go off. But most brands in the UK, they've got a 3 to 6 month shelf life on their adhesives themselves. So once you've opened a new bottle, store it in a cool, dry place. So we always say, like, you store your potatoes, they're in a dark cupboard somewhere, or they're in a basket hidden away in the dark. The same thing for your adhesive. You can buy, I know a lot of lash brands like London Lash, Lash Base, they do have a pot that you can actually store your adhesive in. Really good to just store it away. If you've not got one of those pots, you can always store it. I like to do it like this. So I put it in a drawer. Obviously, it's out of direct sunlight. And then to keep it upright, because every time you open and close your drawer, they fall over, I just use my Microfoam Tape, and I just stick my pot of adhesive in the middle of it, put it away in my drawer, and it never falls over. So that's just a little tip. If anybody wants one, that's a little tip. So once it's opened, there's a lot of things that can probably happen with your glue, with it getting stuck or clogged. So to keep it nice and clean, I don't know if you may have seen these before, but you can buy these Lint Pads. You can use them for lots of different things, and I will tell you a couple of things that I use it for, apart from just cleaning my eyelash glue. You can buy these definitely off Amazon, eBay, and they come in pots, all different size pots and things, just like this. They're just lint-free pads. So little square pads. You've got your glue. When you open it for the very first time, and definitely every day, you need to be really giving it a really, really good shake. Inside your bottle, you've got lots of different ingredients, and if they're not all shook very, very well together, they won't all work together. So definitely use one of your lint-free pads. I always open my tube first. I don't tend to shake my bottle with the lid closed. I usually do it with the lid open, because I don't want any of the glue going up in that nozzle and causing any blockages. So I use my pad, put it on the top of my glue, and I really give it a really, really, really good shake. Now again, you can buy shakers, you can buy glue shakers off different companies. Again, Lash Base, I know, do a glue shaker, but there's lots of different ones out there. So if you didn't want to do this yourself, which I personally like to do it myself, I like to know I've shook it and then test it. This is the alternative way to do it. So give it a really good shake for about a minute, and you want to be getting all them products all mixed in together. The way to know that you know that they're not mixed together is by, when you do your little glue dot, if there's any clear, this is black glue, so you know it's going to be black, and the consistency of it should be jet black, really nice and black. If there's any clear bits in it, that just means that you've not shook it properly, or it might be going off. So it's called blooming. Well, that's what we like to call it. If you can see any blooming, then just give your bottle a really good shake again for a little bit longer, and you should be okay with it. So a good minute for definitely your first shake when you come in. And then you can use your lint-free pad, give your nozzle a really, really good wipe, and then you're ready to do a little glue dot on your whatever kind of lash tray you like to use. You can put a little glue dot on there. When you first start using your adhesive, you'll notice that there's air bubbles. So if you just give it a little squeeze, you can get the air bubbles out first. And that's it. That's basically how to store and shake your glue. So you're looking for jet black consistency every time you use a new glue dot. And then that's your glue telling you it's been shaken well and it's ready to use. I always shake in between every client, I use about 4 glue dots on average. About every 20 minutes to every half an hour, I would use a new glue dot. I don't use a glue ring. I don't know if anybody does, but I don't tend to use a ring. And the reason being is because if I use a little dot, it's fresher and you can keep changing it, so you can keep it nice and fresh all the time. So that's shaking your glue, where to store it. So that's that little bit done. We then, I'm going to talk about humidity and temperature. Now I do know, and I am aware that on some training you don't actually learn about humidity and temperature. The reason I'm aware of that is because some people have actually said, oh no, I've been lashing for a year and I've never been taught that before. So we are going to talk about humidity and temperature as well. So in order for your glue or your adhesive to turn from a liquid inside the bottle into a solid on somebody's eyelash, there's a reaction, a chemical reaction that needs to take place in order for that to happen. So it's called polymerization, and that is basically your glue reacting and turning from a liquid into a solid. So that would be the reason why you would tell your clients not to get their eyelashes wet for the first 24 hours, because the polymerization process usually takes roughly about 24 hours to happen. Some people say 12 hours, some people say 48 hours, but my manufacturer, with my discussions with my glue that I use, usually it's about 24 hours for that process to happen. And that's just your liquid turning, your glue turning from a liquid into a solid. That's a polymerization process. How that happens is your glue reacts to moisture that's in the air. So it needs moisture in the air for it to turn from that liquid into the solid. And in order to make sure that you've got the right humidity in the air, there's a couple of things that you can do. So if you're lashing and you don't know anything about humidity and temperature, you might find that your glue or your adhesive, whatever you call it, is drying too quick, or it's not drying quick enough. Usually that is the humidity. You've either got too much humidity in the air or you've not got enough humidity for that process to happen. And when we're lashing, we try to make everything run as smoothly as possible, because you want to do your treatment on your client and do it with ease. So if your glue's not working properly for you, usually one thing I would look at is humidity. So luckily for me, I work here in the academy and I can have my humidity running right all the time. And on average in the UK, so in our environment, in our country, the average humidity would be between 55 and 65%, give or take. So we need that much moisture in the air for our glue to dry at a reasonable rate. Now, when I say give or take, what I'm meaning is some people say it can be between 50 and 70, so give or take a little bit. So if you have tested your humidity, then, and it's at 45% or 50%, you might be all right to still use it. I'm not saying it has to be perfectly, but for my adhesive, the glue that I use, and on average in the UK, we do train and say that 55 to 65% is good, a good amount of humidity in the air for your glue to work the way it should be working. So the way we can test that is very difficult for people who are they freelance or they're mobile and they go into people's houses, because it's very hard for you to test the humidity in everybody's house. That would be quite a difficult thing for you to do. So for people who do freelance or go out to people's houses, I would suggest that you get an adhesive or a glue that's quite flexible, a really flexible glue that's going to work in quite a lot of different, you know, humidities and temperatures. But if you're working in the salon or, you know, at home or anything like that, a thing that you can do to test your humidity and your temperature is you can buy one of these, which is a hygrometer. So you can buy these. I hope you've got pen and paper and you're taking notes down anyway. You can buy these off the internet and they start at about £5. Some of them are £10, some are £7. They go up in price just depending on how, you know, how cheap or expensive it is to buy. But this one was about £9.99 and I bought this one off Amazon. So when I switch it on, it will tell me the humidity in my room, and then I know I've got a basic start really. So if it's at 45%, I know I want to start getting that humidity, the moisture in the air up a little bit. This one also tells you what the temperature is in your room as well. I'm not going to talk too much about temperature because it's quite basic and quite simple really. Your temperature should be between 18 and 22% for your glue not to go gloopy and all sticky and horrible really, really quick. So ideally, it should be between 18 and 22 degrees. Again, this is what we train when we're teaching extension courses. This would be what I train my students with. So on this hygrometer, it'll tell me both of those things. It'll give me my humidity and my temperature. So now I know that on average in the UK, between 55 and 65%, give or take, for my humidity, and between 18 and 22%, give or take, for my temperature. So temperature being too low isn't a major drama, just your client might get a little bit cold. It won't make your glue go really gloopy really quick. But if you do like a really nice warm environment, what's all toasty to work in, then you might want to consider maybe changing your glue a lot more often than you would if your room was a lot cooler. What I tend to do in work here is I have the temperature down a bit, but if my client gets a little bit cold, I wrap them up in a blanket. I also have the windows open as well to keep some fresh air going. So yeah, so that's temperature. If it does start to go gloopy, just change your glue dot. The fresher, the more you change your dot, the better, the fresher it's going to be while you're working on it, on your lashes. Right, so yeah, so humidity, so a hygrometer. So there's a couple of different things. If your humidity is too low, there's things that we can do, and if it's too high, there's also things that we can do as well. So for me in here, in my academy, it's an old stables, but when it was renovated like 15 years ago, they renovated it really airtight. So it's quite, internally, it's quite a new building. So my humidity is quite low. What we find is older buildings, the humidity is quite high. If you're working in a room where there might be a little bit of damp or you see any mold or anything like that, that could be an indication that your humidity is too high in your room and you might need to bring it down a little bit. If it is too high, your glue will set too quick. It will set so fast that you can't even get the lashes on. So your glue will be dry before, as you dip into your glue and you go to apply, it will have dried before you get to that stage. So you'd need to bring your humidity levels down. Again, just for anybody who's joined, I can see that a few people have joined. Your hygrometer will tell you whether you're high or whether you're low. So a dehumidifier would be something, if your humidity was too high, that you would actually use. So you want to be taking some of that moisture out of the air. Mine's too low. Mine's usually at about 40%. So I want to get mine up to about 50–55%. So I have then got a humidifier. So I haven't brought one to show you because it's in the other room where we do lashing, but you can, it's basically a machine that's got water in it, filtered water, and you have it on running all day. And it's a bit like it's steam basically that comes into your room all day. When I come into work in the morning, that's one of the first things that I switch on. So I turn the electrics on and I have to turn my humidifier on as well to start getting some moisture in the air. Mine is a really good one. It's got, you can set it to a certain level. Once it hits that level, it'll go off, and as it starts to drop again, it'll come on and it just keeps bursting like that. That's quite a good one. The reason I've got quite a good one is just because I'm constantly having to put humidity into the air. There's other different things that you can use. Some people say, oh, you know, you can boil a kettle in a room. That'll get a bit of humidity in there. But I have tried that, and what I tend to find is it has a quick humidity burst and then it just goes down again. So if you are in the situation where your humidity is quite low, I would think about investing in a humidifier. They do range from about £20. You can pay up to £200 for a decent one. Mine's really nice because you can put some, you can put essential oils and things like that in, so it's a nice smell as well. So that's humidity and temperature covered with glue. We've covered basically how to store it and how to shake it. And I just want to talk about different adhesives that are on the market. I call it adhesive or glue. I'm talking about the same thing. It just depends. Some people call it glue, some people call it adhesive. Now, we're in a situation where we can buy glue from anywhere because we can use the internet and it gets imported. But I just really want to stress the importance of using a glue that is approved on our market in the UK. What we've found is, again, talking to my manufacturer, people are buying a lot of glues that are working really, really well from different countries in the world, but those countries might not be as safe as what our country is when it comes to, you know, the standards, the things that definitely for cosmetics that we use. So glue is not classed as a cosmetic at the moment on our market, so you can actually buy it from anywhere. But bear in mind, it's really, really, for me, it's very important that I'm using one that's EU and E approved, because I'm working on the eyes, and this is a chemical. You've got all different little chemicals in that bottle. I want to know that the glue that I am using is the safest, and it's been tested and it's safe to use on our market. So I just wanted to let you know that there are some really strong glues out there that maybe you shouldn't be using because they're not safe to use. So just be aware that when you are buying them, if you do buy them from a brand, a UK lash brand for an example, definitely they will be EU and E approved and safe to use. But if you're buying them off the internet, just be aware that there's no regulations for the glue that you're using, and you are working with chemicals on people's eyes. So I definitely want that to be as safe as possible. So yeah, so that's glue. I think that's a good base for topic on your glue. So store it in a cool, dry place, out of direct sunlight. Once it's open, depending on which one you buy, it's got a 3 to 6 month shelf life. Shake it. You can use these little lint pads that you can buy off the internet in little boxes like this. You can shake your glue against one of these and wipe your nozzle, and it'll wipe all the glue off. You can keep it nice and clean. And then if you are storing them in a drawer, then you can just put them into your tape and they won't fall over when you're opening and closing your drawer. So that's a few little tips and tricks just with glue. I think I've covered quite a fair amount with that. I will, actually, let's just talk a little bit about allergic reactions. I suppose we could talk about allergic reactions with glue a little bit as well. So people are sensitive. Usually it's another big long subject, but we'll just touch on it briefly about people having reactions towards the adhesive. Usually if you're using a black glue like that, there's 2 different active ingredients within that glue that most people tend to react to. One's called cyanacrylate, which is what makes the glue stick. So unfortunately, cyanacrylate is in all the lash glues. I haven't seen any that's not got any cyanacrylate in it as of yet. That may change. Hopefully it will, because it would be great if it does. But it is what makes the glue stick. So it needs to be in there for us for now. That's one what people tend to react to. And the other is what makes the glue black, and it's called carbon black. That's the dye, basically, that turns that glue from a clear glue into a black glue. The reason why we like to use black glue is because most of the eyelashes that we use are black, and it looks nicer. The overall looks nicer. So what you could do to try and prevent anybody from having an allergic reaction is, like we was talking about the polymerization process earlier, the glue turning from a liquid in the bottle to a solid on the lash. You could actually use a little tool like this, which is a nano mister. I don't tend to use it as often as what some people do. Some people will use a nano mister every time they do a set of lash extensions. Other people don't. And I'll tell you the reasons why I do and I don't like to use it. There's different reasons why. If you do a full set of lashes and you don't use a nano mister and you let the polymerization process happen naturally, so it happens over 24 hours, then what happens is the lash extensions will be softer and lighter. What tends to happen sometimes is when we use a nano mister and we shock cure, it's called shock curing the eyelashes. When we do that, sometimes the glue can dry stiff and hard. So you can use either or, it just depends on what you prefer to do. I tend to use a nano mister if I've got a client who's quite sensitive. So when I'm talking to definitely a new client in the beginning, when we're first messaging or I'm first speaking to that new client on the phone, I ask her if she's sensitive around the eyes, around that area, and any sensitivity on the face. And if she is, that's what it'll ring little alarm bells in my head, and I'll start thinking of what I can do to maybe avoid any sensitivity issues. So I might use a nano mister on that client. Also, if I've got a client who starts to have a reaction over a period of time, so she starts to get a little bit of redness, a little bit of swelling or anything like that, I might use a nano mister to shock cure the eyelash glue as well. So you would literally just spray over the eyelash extensions. It's a controlled mist, so it's not going to get them soaking wet. It basically just seals the glue that you've put on. And that will also stop the vapours from being around the eye area. So if we're remembering, like I said earlier, the polymerization process usually happens over 24 hours, then you've actually got the vapours of the glue around the eyes for about 24 hours as well. So if you do shock cure them, you're stopping that from happening, or you're trying to avoid that from happening. So you can use a nano mister for that. Some people like to use a nano mister, like I say, for everybody. I just tend to use it for people who are sensitive. So that's one thing that you can do to try and avoid that. So I just thought I'd show you that. Again, you can buy these off most lash brands. You can also buy them off internet sites. They've got a little water tank in the back, and that just charges up on a USB. So just have it on charge. I change my water every day with filtered water. So that's that. Adhesive. Let's talk about, we'll move on now, I think, to under eye taping versus under eye treatment pads. So when I first started out lashing, I did use under eye treatment pads. And what you find is some pads can be very expensive if you, again, buy them off lash brands. You can feel like they're quite expensive. So what the alternative is to buy them off maybe eBay or Amazon. And they're from other countries, and they've got products inside them. So the gel that's underneath has actually got products inside that might, again, not be EU and E approved and set for our market, safe and set for our market. So I did use pads in the beginning when I first started to lash, but I kind of had a lot of problems with them. A lot of different problems as well, what I didn't like about them. They do tend to move quite a lot. So if you've got a client who likes to have a good chat, and I like talking, so I do like talking to my clients. So don't tell them to stay quiet, because I've got a lot of talking to do for every client that comes in. Some people do put these on and then they put tape over the top of them to try and hold them in place. I'm not happy with that, because I found that they did tend to slip into the eye quite a lot. So I was looking for quite a long time when I first started lashing at an alternative to use than under eye pads. I don't like the fact that they can go up into the eye. I'm really sorry for anybody who does use them, but for me, they're not my cup of tea at all. So this is just my opinion on something. You might be happy with them, brill. If you're not, then the alternative from under eye pads is microfoam tape. So it comes in a roll like this. There's lots of different ways that you can apply microfoam tape, but firstly I'm going to talk about the manufacturer of this tape is 3M, and it's safe to use. It's got they're latex free, and usually sometimes most of them are hypoallergenic as well. So when you're putting them onto your client's skin, they're actually a lot safer, in my opinion, definitely, than the under eye pads that you don't know actually what the ingredients is in this gel. Is that causing a problem for your clients? Might they, if they have a reaction, might it be to these under eye pads and the ingredients as opposed to your glue? I'd rather not take that risk. So personally, I don't use those. They definitely when you buy them off the internet, as in not off a UK lash brand, then they definitely, I've got ingredients in there that are maybe not safe on our market. So for them reasons, I'm out on that. So I use 3M microfoam tape. So it's used in surgery, which is brilliant. It's mainly used for wounds and things like that. So we know that it's kind of safer to use 3M. Again, it's safe on our market. It's quite sticky. The reason we use foam is because when you are, where's my tweezers there? Yeah. When you're resting your tweezers on the tape, it's foam, so it's going to take that weight of your tweezers. We should only be doing that lightly anyway, but the reason we use foam is because it's safer for you to use, and you know you've got a bit of leeway then with putting your tweezers on them. So there's different ways that you can use it as well. They're usually roughly about £10 for the roller tape, and if you like to save a little bit of money, then there's different ways that you can use them. I'll show you how I like to use them. It's a bit of practice makes perfect as well. You have to do it a couple of times before you get to, yeah, I can do this and I can do it really, really easily. So let me see, I have got scissors. I'll just cut. I thought I'd left my scissors in the academy then, but I've got some. Right, so when we're using tape, cut a little piece off like this. Cut it in half lengthways. So I'm using these scissors. These are not the scissors that I use usually, but it doesn't matter because we're just using them. So if you cut it, if you can see, cut it in half lengthways, pop it on the back of your hand, just get that there. So you've now got two pieces out of one, so you can use this for both eyes. I then like to put little slits in the side that I've just cut, because I know that's not going to be as straight as what the other side is. These scissors are not the greatest. Let's have a little go. Right, yeah, one little slit and another little slit. And I'll tell you the reasons why I do this as well. So just two little slits in the tape, you can see. And the reason we do that is because everybody's eye shape's different, but I can now start to create my own eye shape. So when you are getting the lower lashes down, you can actually mold it to the shape of your client's eye. Now, if you use it like this, so you get a bit of tape, you cut it down the middle and then put your slits in, you can usually get about 30, 40 sets of eyelashes out of one load of tape. If you've never used it before, you will have to use it a couple of times before you're like, ooh, whizzing through it. But I definitely love microfoam tape. I think it's brilliant to use, and I use it all the time. I don't use anything else. So yeah, so roughly cut it. You're roughly making a cut down the middle, and then you're going to put two little slits in. That gives you the shape for your client's eye. You can map on these as well. So if you're lash mapping, you can lash map on there dead easily. Your pen will go straight onto there, and you can just make it the shape of your client's eye. Perfect thing for me to use. I really love it. And I do, all my students, I do show them the difference between pads and tape and how I think that tape's safer than pads to use. So we'll just catch up on that for anybody who's just joined. So we've just covered tape versus under eye pads, and we've just spoke about how much safer I think tape is versus iPads. These tend to move a lot into your eye, so they can cause irritations. They've also got lots of different products inside them, which is the gel that they say is, you know, cooling, nice cooling gel. But if they're bought off certain websites and you've bought them in a pack of 50 for £10, do you know what ingredients is in that gel underneath the eyes, and is it safe to use? If it's coming from other countries, then maybe not. 3M microfoam tape, safe to use. It's used in surgery and it's very sticky, so it won't move. Once you've put it in place, it won't move, and you can get quite a lot of sets, 30, 40 sometimes, sets of lashes out of one roll of tape. So that's definitely my choice out of the two. That's what I like to use. So we've covered adhesive, we've covered tape, and I think we should talk about the importance of lash cleansing. So I'm gonna say that quite a lot of us don't actually, Not quite a lot of us, but education wise, do we tell our clients how important it is to be cleaning their own lashes at home? It makes your life so much easier when it comes to infilling a client's lashes if they're looking after them properly themselves. So we'll do a scenario. We've got a new client, she's come in, she's having her eyelashes done. Now, when you do a consultation with your client, I usually tend to find that I do a consultation and I talk about all the important things in a consultation, but any information that you want to be giving your clients about the lash life cycle, so why our eyelashes fall out, and definitely lash cleansing. I do it while they're on the bed, so you might have them on your bed for 2 hours. So I give them all that information while they're on the bed. And then afterwards, when it's a new client who's new to lashes or she's never been told the importance of lash cleansing before, I show her how to cleanse her own lashes afterwards. So we tell our clients, don't get your eyelashes wet for the first 24 hours. We've already gone over glue and we've already talked about the polymerization process. Now we're going to talk about, they can't get their eyelashes wet for the first 24 hours, but after that, they can get them as wet as they want. Once the glue's polymerized and it's set hard on the lashes, then we can get these eyelashes wet as many times as we want. So they don't need to be frightened of doing anything with their eyelash extensions. Some people are, they're like, oh no, I don't touch them because I know that they'll last longer. If I don't do anything with them, they will last longer. However, it's so important because any build-up of contaminants on the lashes can cause infections on the eyes, which then can cause people to not have their eyelashes done properly. So it's really, really important that we're telling our clients how to cleanse their eyelash extensions. And also, it's important for us because when they come in for the infills, we don't want to be cleansing our clients' lashes. We should be educating them and telling them how important it is for them to cleanse the lashes. So all of my new clients, all my clients know, but all of my new clients, I talk them through the process. So I tell them while they're on the bed. I do explain to them. We wear a lot of eye makeup, don't we? If we go out, we've got eyeshadow on, we've got our lash extensions in, you know, what do I wash my eyelashes with? Well, again, it's really important. A lash cleanser is an important thing to use. Lash cleanser and a brush. And it will prevent the build-up of any bacteria, any contaminants, anything like that on the client's eyelashes and on their eyes. So if they're doing this, I just tell them, the reason I have these little brushes is because they can put them in the shower. So cleansing brush in the shower, whenever they wash the hair, whenever they have a shower, they can cleanse over their eyelash extensions as well. And some people say, oh, I just want to really, really give my eyelashes a really good itch. And I'm like, if they cleanse them every day, they won't feel like they just need to give their eyes a good rub because they feel fresh. When you wash your hair and you dry your hair and it feels lovely and clean and fresh, if they're cleansing their eyelashes, again, they'll feel exactly the same. There's different cleansers out there. Cleansers are classed as cosmetic, so they do definitely need to be approved on our market because it is classed as a cosmetic that you're using on your skin. So just be aware, again, that you want to be using something that's safe. So your cleansing brush, obviously not, you can get that from anywhere, but your cleanser, definitely want to be using something that's safe on your eyes. Anything that's EU and E approved, I know we're going out of the EU, but currently, our products are EU and E approved. So just again be aware that if you're buying these from anywhere else that's not safe, it might not be the right thing to be recommending your clients to use. I'll just talk about baby shampoo. I'm not going to name any brands or anything like that, but I did get told off a couple of years ago for recommending a certain baby shampoo for washing clients' eyelashes. I got told off that company. One of the biggest baby shampoo brands in the world said to me, please do not recommend our baby shampoo for your client's eyes because then it's not safe. Yeah, it's safe for a baby's head. It's tear-free. If they get a little bit of the lava in their eyes, you can rinse it out and it won't cause any irritations. But we would definitely not advise that you're washing your eyes in our baby shampoo. So please do not recommend that to your clients again. And I was like, Okay, what do we do next? So yeah, a cleanser is safe. It's specifically for eyelash extensions. You should be selling them to all your clients. They last about 6 months, so they just have to buy one. You can do a really good deal on them as well. You could, you know, offer them for a discounted price or whatever, but definitely whenever we're doing a new set of clients, a new set of lashes with a new client, we need to be telling them the importance of lash hygiene, so we don't get any build-ups what don't lead to any irritations. So I'll just quickly take you through how I use mine personally. I'd stand in front of my client once she's had her eyelashes done, get her in the magic mirror behind me, let her have a look at her gorgeous new eyelash extensions, and then I'll just show her how to maintain them herself. So we're not going to get them wet for the first 24 hours. Other people might tell you different. They might say, I have got friends in the industry who say you can get your eyelashes wet straight away and it doesn't cause any problems whatsoever. I do like to ask my clients not to get their eyelashes wet for the first 24 hours. And that's because I know then that my adhesive has had enough amount of time for it to set. That's basically why we're asking somebody not to get their eyelash extensions wet for that period of time. It's just because that's how long it takes for your glue to polymise. Anyway, we'll move on. So they can cleanse their eyelashes as much as they want. This one, for an example, is a foaming cleanser. I like foam. Just tell them to put 2 pumps on the back of the hand while they're in the shower. Get their cleansing brush, go in, and then they can really get in there and really rub all nicely. As long as the glue's set, I've got a bit on my cheek there. As long as my glue's set, then they can give it a really, really nice wash. Both their eyes, nice wash whenever they wash their hair, whenever they have a shower. It has to be rinsed out. It's exactly the same as using a face wash. It's foamy, it's soapy, it leaves a film. It's definitely got to all be rinsed off. And then I do recommend that when they're drying the hair after they have washed the hair and the eyelash extensions, I do recommend to just use the hairdryer at a safe distance and fluff them all up again, especially if you've got Russian volume lashes. Once you've cleansed your eyelashes and you blast them off with the hairdryer, they go all fluffy and gorgeous again. So that's lash cleansing, the importance of it. You won't have any problems if your client's cleansing her lashes well with any kind of build-ups or contaminants, and we see it, don't we? Definitely blepharitis, quite common. The gap that is in between the eyelash extension and the skin, we know that we've got to leave a little gap when we're applying the eyelash extensions. The reason we leave the gap is so that we're not irritating, we're not getting glue on the skin, and we're also not pushing these lash extensions onto the client's skin. So we do leave a little tiny gap, and we can get a really big build-up of all sorts of makeup, sweat, everything, all sorts of different things actually does build up in that gap. We've seen it, I've seen it. So if we're using a good cleanser, then we're definitely getting rid of all that, any build up that's in there, nice and fresh, nice and safe, and then we've got no problems of anything building up. So that's cleansing. What else have we got? Let me see what else we can. I'll not talk about tools. I think we should just, timing wise, I think if we just have a little recap on what we've talked about, that'll be a great place to finish off, I think, before we start answering questions. So if anybody else got any questions, just put them down in the chat and we'll definitely answer them. So you've got your adhesive, store it in a cool, dry place, out of direct sunlight. Once opened, it's got a 3 to 6 month shelf life. It depends on the brand. 3 to 6 months is usually on average. You know when your glue's going off. You can tell it's not quite right. You know when it's going off and it's time to buy a new bottle. But usually on average 3 to 6 months. It just depends once opened. When you shake it, use these little lint-free pads. I've got one there, what I just used earlier. Open. I like to shake against the nozzle. Again, just like I said earlier, I don't like to use the nozzle on the lid just in case any of the glue comes out. Give it a really good shake for about a minute. You want to be really, really shaking it. And then after you've given it a really good shake, you're looking for a really jet black in consistency glue dot. That's a really nice dot for you to start working on. Always, as well, when you're putting your lashes into your dot, do it right in the middle, because that's the part of the dot that'll go off last. All around the sides of the glue dot will start to go off first. So I always like to dip right in the middle, not on the sides, because I know that that's going to go gloopy quite quick. So yeah, shake it every time you use it. Give it a really good shake. And if it's clear in consistency, if you've got a jet black glue and it's got any clear bits in it with black dots, that's called blooming, and that's usually meaning that you've not given it a shake, as good a shake as what you can do. So if it's like that, give it a really good shake again, and then try and get that get that consistency jet black. I think that's it for adhesive. We've talked a little bit about under eye treatment pads, why Becky doesn't like to use them, versus microfoam tape. You can buy this. It's on average, it's about £10. You will get 30 to 40 sets if you use it the way I shown you earlier. So you can look back at the video if anybody's joined who is like, what did she do with it? Have a little look back, and I've shown you how I actually like to use it. There are other ways you can use it if you're struggling with that. There are other alternative ways that you can use your tape. And then the importance of lash cleansing and lash hygiene. So make sure you're telling your clients that they must keep their eyelashes nice and clean, nice and healthy, and nice and safe. It's really, really important. Lash hygiene, we should definitely all be telling our clients about it. You can buy brushes that go with your cleanser. People can put them in the shower, and when they use it, they really, really feel nice and clean and fresh, and it avoids any build-up or contaminants on your client's eyes. So I think that's it for today. There's lots of other subjects that we could talk about, and if you do want to talk about any other subjects, let us know, and we'll come on and definitely have a good chat with you about that. But I think it's time to go over to some questions.
Amazing, Rebecca. Thank you so much for your demonstration, and there's loads of good tips there. We've had loads of comments from people saying how many good ideas there were there, so thank you. So as Rebecca mentioned, we're moving on to our Q&A section now, so if you have any questions, we've got some time now to answer them. So the first question that we've had through is from Chantel, and she's wanting to know about the tape that you used. She said, if the tape is very sticky, does it come off easily at the end?
Yeah, it does come off easily at the end. So if I'll cut another piece. If I just show you, you don't need to detack this tape. If you're taping the lids up, then you would use a different tape. You would use this Microfoam Tape, it's called. And I like to detack that a little bit first because it's very, very sticky. But the Microfoam Tape, the way to peel it off is I'll cut another piece and I'll just show you. Okay, so we're going to pretend that we've put it on, but I'm just going to stick it onto my skin. All that you need to do is start with the outer corner first, lift it up with your finger, and then with your opposite finger, just gently take it off. But yeah, it's definitely not that sticky. It won't damage the client's eyelashes or anything like that. It's just really safe to use. I definitely use that over pads, but each to their own. Everybody can use what they like.
Amazing, thank you, Chantel, for your question. And Rebecca, what kind of styles are currently popular, and do you have any trend predictions for lash extensions?
Oh, yeah, so one of my favorite things, and this is the reason why I love my clients and I do them, because they're all like, yeah, just do what you want, and I'm like, whoa. But yeah, the industry's moving so fast. There are lots of different lash styles. I definitely teach a wispy lash, mega volume lash workshop. And it's just trendy. Wispy lashes are a lot, they're getting a lot more popular now. The industry's moving really quick, so you've got to be prepared to move at quite a fast rate as well. And I like to keep myself as current as possible. So definitely wispy lashes, mega volume. Wispy lashes, they're all different lengths going all the way through, and you can put other lengths in and just create a soft textured look, and that's I like that messy, fluffy, wispy overall look. So definitely wispies are one to look out for. Mega volume, people like to have, definitely those who like to wear strip lashes and wear a lot of makeup, they like a good mega volume set. So, and you can mix, just be creative. I started off with getting a strip lash, and I put the strip lash onto the tape underneath my client's eye, and I basically just copied that. So that's how I kind of started off doing something that was completely different, and I've been doing that for quite a long time. So definitely be trendy and do something different. And you can go on there's lots of courses out there with different lash techniques and stuff, and I definitely recommend to stay on top of that, because the industry's moving so fast.
Absolutely. And what are some of the common mistakes you see with therapists applying lash extensions? Is there anything that really stands out, do you think?
Yeah, I think too much glue, too much adhesive use. We do tend to see a lot of people definitely using too much, and I don't know, I wouldn't always blame the technician for that, but is that the training as well? Because definitely in training we're very, very adamant about, you only need to use the tiniest amount of glue on somebody's lashes. It does its job, and definitely we see too much of that. But I wouldn't blame the therapist. I would personally think that they might need just a bit of mentoring, and to show them how to better use adhesive. But yeah, that's one bugbear. It's something that people see a lot of, that is definitely glues that are really, really strong and really unsafe. And so that's one thing that we see quite a lot of. I'm just trying to think of what else. I'd say use of glue is definitely the one that probably doesn't play well with a lot of other technicians. I'd say that's our biggest error in the industry that people are doing, maybe, and it's something that people need to learn a bit more about. So I'd suggest a bit. Some people don't even know that they're doing it. It's just the way that they've been trained. But I think the use of glue is definitely a topic that comes up quite a lot.
Cool. And what are the best tips to tell clients to help them maintain their lashes? Is there anything, I know you mentioned about the brush cleanser and how important that is. Is there anything else that you would recommend that we should be telling our clients?
So we give them a mascara one, don't we? Or a spoolie, whatever you call it. The one that you've used, you usually give your client. And I just basically, lash hygiene is really important. To come in, if they want to maintain their eyelash extensions, every 2 to 3 weeks. That's different for different clients. Some clients will lose their eyelashes a lot faster than others. If you've got somebody who goes to the gym 5 times a week and she's having 2 showers a day and she's sweating, and she might need to have her eyelashes done every 2 weeks. Some people can get 3 weeks. Lash cleansing is the most important thing that you can tell your client about the hygiene of the lashes. Brush them a couple of times a day, but don't be frightened of doing anything with them either. Once the glue's set, once it's polymerized, then you can give them a really good brush, and then you can cleanse them really well. But yeah, so it's maintaining them, lash hygiene, and they can give them a really good brush through. Try not to, there are things to avoid, anything oil based. The glue tends to it doesn't like anything that's oil based, and that's kind of what we use to remove them, and an oil based product. So try to avoid anything oil based around the eyelash extension. So if they're going on holiday and they use oil on the skin, and we all like that gorgeous tan, then try and use something that's maybe cream based. Anything oily is a no-no. Stay away from it.
Amazing, great advice. And I think that's all we have time for now today, but thank you, Rebecca, for joining us. And I know we've had loads of comments saying how useful all of your advice was. So it's been great to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. And for everyone watching, this will be available on Facebook to watch afterwards, and also on YouTube as well. So if you want to catch up, then you can replay it there. But thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Thanks everyone, bye.